Albert Einstein. His name is synonymous with genius, with unraveling the deepest mysteries of the universe, and with changing the course of history itself. He gave us the theory of relativity, the famous equation E equals mc squared, and an entirely new way to see the cosmos. But what if I told you that being Albert Einstein wasn't the dream it's cracked up to be? Because behind the brilliance, the accolades, and the scientific revolutions lay a man whose life was riddled with rejection, heartbreak, relentless pressure, and even a legacy tied to destruction. His genius wasn't a shield against struggle. In fact, it made his life infinitely more complicated. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on Einstein's life. First, we'll see how the man regarded as a genius was dismissed as a failure before he ever made his mark. Then, we'll dive into his personal life, a story filled with fractured relationships, heartbreak, and unresolved tragedies. We'll look at how the fame Einstein achieved didn't liberate him. It trapped him in ways you wouldn't believe. And finally, we'll explore how his name, despite his lifelong commitment to peace, became intertwined with one of history's most devastating weapons. Stick around, because by the end, you'll see why even the brightest mind in human history couldn't escape life's darkest struggles. And if stories like these fascinate you, make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the untold challenges behind the legends. The genius nobody wanted. Let's rewind to 1900. Picture a young Albert Einstein, just 21 years old, freshly graduated from Zurich Polytechnic. He's filled with revolutionary ideas about space, time, and light, concepts that would one day change the world. But back then, the world didn't see him as a genius. In fact, it barely noticed him at all. Einstein had always been an unconventional student. He despised rote memorization and the rigid structure of formal education. While his peers diligently attended lectures, Einstein was busy daydreaming, questioning the very foundations of physics, and pursuing knowledge on his own terms. His professors weren't impressed. One called him a lazy dog, and when Einstein graduated, his academic mentors didn't rush to help him find a job. The letters of recommendation he received were tepid at best. So Einstein began applying to teaching positions across Europe. Big universities, small colleges, it didn't matter. But rejection after rejection rolled in. To them, Einstein wasn't a brilliant physicist. He was an unemployed, unproven graduate with no remarkable achievements. For 2 years, Einstein scraped by, taking poorly paid tutoring jobs to survive. His family worried he was squandering his potential. His friends began doubting him. And Einstein himself, he felt like a failure. Finally, in 1902, Einstein landed a job, but not the kind he wanted. He became a third-class clerk at the Swiss Patent Office. His task? Reviewing mundane patent applications for devices like typewriters and washing machines. It was far from the academic dream he'd envisioned, but this dead-end job turned out to be a blessing in disguise. The monotony of the patent office gave Einstein time to think, really think. And in 1905, he published 4 groundbreaking papers that would alter the course of science forever, including the theory of special relativity and E equals mc squared. Yet, even then, recognition didn't come easily. Many scientists dismissed his work because he wasn't affiliated with a university. Imagine making discoveries that would change the world, only to be ignored because of where you worked. That was Einstein's reality. If this part of Einstein's story surprised you, give the video a like and share it with someone who'd appreciate hearing how even a genius can struggle to find their way. Let's keep exploring. The heartbreak behind the genius. Einstein's professional struggles were tough, but his personal life was even more tumultuous. While studying at Zurich Polytechnic, Einstein met Mileva Maric, a brilliant and ambitious fellow student. They bonded over their love of science and began a relationship. But their romance faced immediate challenges. Einstein's family disapproved of Mileva, viewing her as unsuitable. She was Serbian, strong-willed, and determined to pursue her own career, traits that clashed with the traditional expectations of the time. Einstein ignored his family's objections, but the tension never disappeared. In 1902, before they were married, Mileva gave birth to a daughter, Liesl. But here's where the story turns tragic. Liesl's fate is a mystery. Some believe she died of scarlet fever as an infant, while others speculate she was given up for adoption. Einstein never spoke of her publicly. Imagine carrying that silent grief for the rest of your life. Einstein and Mileva married in 1903, but their relationship began to crumble as Einstein's career took off. Mileva sacrificed her own ambitions to care for their children and manage their home, but Einstein grew distant. By 1914, their marriage was in shambles. Einstein presented Mileva with a list of conditions for staying together, including that she stop speaking to him unless he initiated the conversation and accept there would be no intimacy. Mileva couldn't take it. She left him, taking their children with her. Their divorce was finalized in 1919, and Einstein's second marriage, to his cousin Elsa, was more stable but devoid of passion. Fame, a blessing, and a curse. In 1919, Einstein's theory of general relativity was confirmed during a solar eclipse. Overnight, he became a global sensation. Crowds followed him, reporters hounded him, and fans camped outside his house. At first, Einstein tried to embrace his fame, but it quickly became suffocating. He once joked that if he'd known fame would be this exhausting, he'd have become a watchmaker instead. But fame wasn't just tiring, it was dangerous. As a Jewish scientist in a Europe teetering on the edge of World War II, Einstein became a target for anti-Semitism. Nazi propaganda labeled his work Jewish science, and hate mail flooded in. By 1933, Einstein was at the top of the Nazis' enemies list. Fearing for his life, he fled Germany and sought refuge in the United States. But even in exile, the pain of leaving his homeland haunted him. Would you trade places with Einstein, knowing everything he faced? Let us know in the comments below. The name tied to destruction. Here's one of the bitterest ironies of Einstein's life. His name became associated with the atomic bomb, an invention he neither created nor supported. In 1939, Einstein co-signed a letter to President Franklin D. Roosevelt, warning that Nazi Germany might develop a nuclear weapon. That letter spurred the US to start the Manhattan Project, which ultimately led to the creation of the bomb dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Einstein deeply regretted his involvement. He once said, "If I had known, I would have never signed the letter." His life's work had been about understanding the universe, not destroying it. Yet his name became forever linked to one of history's most devastating weapons. Even the greatest genius in history couldn't escape rejection, heartbreak, or unintended consequences. Einstein's life was proof that brilliance often comes with an unbearable cost. If this story gave you a new perspective, hit subscribe for more untold tales of iconic figures.